I will do another start with a basic shape just to give you more of an idea. Here's just one more start with a basic shape. And I've done something similar like this in a classroom and I really liked how it turned out. So I'll just do another variation. So I started with a trapezoid. A lot of times people have lots of fun ideas for this one. One that was really fun once was a lamp, and we turned it into a little lamp character. Another one that I see when I see this trapezoid is this. So notice I'm just using a lot of basic shapes here. This is pretty simple. But hopefully it will give you an idea. I don't know what these are. Maybe he has striped shorts on. He's a robot, so who knows? Maybe he's a robot that works at a beach picking up garbage. There's his little hook hand to grab things. Maybe this one shreds garbage, or you can use it to pick it up. And of course, the more detail you add, sometimes the more you bring your picture to life. So I could keep going and add lots of different details to show all the parts and how he's put together. But I'm going to stop here. I think this gives you a basic idea. And lastly, here are the final variations of start with a shape. I started with a random shape, a basic shape. Now I'm going to just twist it up a little bit, and I'm going to start with an eye and put the shape around it. And I could still put a random shape around it and just enjoy the surprise of what it looks like, or I can be more intentional and think about what it actually is. I'll give you two examples here. I could also make a realistic eye or a cartoon eye, so I'll do both. I'm going to make more of a realistic eye here, almost like I'm drawing a lemon. Well, make a little circle. I'm making lots of circles here. Almost looks like a little fish. Okay, so there's one eye. Now I'm going to make a random shape around that and see what happens here. Now look at that. This could be a mouth open here, or I didn't even see this. This could actually be a weird little creature. It almost looks like it could be a giraffe. Like these are the two ears. Even if it's not a giraffe, it could be like that kind of creature. Or maybe I could give it horns. Maybe I'll give it horns like this. Almost like some variation of a gazelle. There's its little nose. And I could, of course, draw a body for it. And of course the eye was meant to be looking this way, but it's imaginary. And when I looked at it, I saw it going this way, so that's what it turned out to be. Now, I'll do one more using cartoon eyes. I always draw circles or ovals, but there's lots of different ways you can make eyes. So, it looks like that character is looking over here. I'm just going to draw something simple. Maybe it's an apple with a bite taken out of it. Nothing too crazy here. But hopefully this just gives you an idea of another variation of start with the shape. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this will give you some ideas to use in the future. The cool thing about Start with a Shape is it can just be a fun way to pass time if you have the urge to doodle but you don't know what to draw. It can help you come up with new ideas. For example, I probably would have never come up with this picture just out of my head. That's the fun thing, is it gives you a new direction to go in that you might not have thought of before. Another thing you can do is keep a sketchbook or even a little folder of drawings, whether it's in a nice drawing book or just on regular scrap paper, it doesn't matter. But the important thing is that you kind of have a little book or stack of pictures that you can come back to and pull from when you actually want to make a more detailed or time-consuming piece of art. I'm going to show you some examples. I'll show you a little slideshow of examples I've made in schools and even with my own art using these techniques. Here are some of the examples I mentioned. I did these as demonstrations when I was a visiting artist in different schools. They're all made from oil pastel, watercolor, and Sharpie marker. I really like using that combination, but if you want to do a more finished version of one of your Start with the Shapes, like I mentioned before, you can use any type of medium. Medium means the type of material that you use to create art with. So this first one, I started with a random shape, and the class thought it looked like it could be a cat, perhaps. So I turned it into a little cat and put it on a skateboard. The name of it is Cat on Wheels. It just has an abstract background. The next one is also start with a random shape, and it's some strange little creature. It almost looks like it could be a monkey. Has a pretty crazy expression. The next one was start with a basic shape. I started with that oval. And again, I picked this one to show you because it looks really similar to the robot I demonstrated earlier. The next one is also start with a basic shape. I started with a circle. Could have been turned into a snowman, but it turned into this weird little creature. Almost looks like a little demon or something with sunglasses on. The next one I made with the start with an eye technique, and then I made an abstract face around it. I chose to kind of focus in. You don't really see the edge of the face at all. And one more start with an eye is this strange little fish. He looks a little mad. And he is again done with, there's no Sharpie marker on this one, it's just oil pastel and watercolor. I put the watercolor on last on all of them. It's called Watercolor Resist. The oil pastel, or if you're using crayon, will resist the watercolor, and it will just fill in all the empty spaces. And finally, here's an example of a painting I made at home in my studio. It was created with acrylic paint on canvas, and I thought it would be a fun example to show how you can go from a sketch made using the start with a shape technique to a painting. I started first with one fish, the one on the left with the buck tooth, and I thought he was pretty fun, and so he inspired me to create the others just from my imagination. So I just played around with different shapes, and I came up with that fun underwater themed painting. Again, thanks for watching my first tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel or check back because I'll be putting up new videos and tutorials on a regular basis. And if you have any questions or ideas about what you'd like to see, feel free to send me a message at larockaa@yahoo.com or visit my site, AllieLarock.com, where you can also find information about taking art classes or booking art birthday parties with me. Remember, art is for everybody.